So you just got rejected? Ouch.
This is the worst.
But don't worry, my friend. Today, I'm going to share with you how to deal with rejection in sales calls, because it's not you, it's them. They suck.
Oh, wow. All right, hey.
Just kidding. But also you don't. I'm Amy Walker. I'm a small business strategist, and I have helped hundreds of business owners be able to generate 6- and 7-figure businesses, and I know that you can do it too. When I was a new entrepreneur and I was experiencing my first heartache of rejection, here's the advice that my trainer gave me. Build a bridge and get over it.
But life goes on. Not for me.
Well, my friends, I think that's a bunch of You can't just build a bridge and get over it. If you're being affected by disappointment and by rejection, then you got to figure out, what do I do with this so that I can move forward?
We can finally put this whole thing behind us? No.
So in today's video, here's what we're going to cover. First, we're going to talk about the different ways that different people deal with rejection and disappointment. Second, I'm going to help you figure out what's your go-to coping style and what you can adjust in order to get past rejection more quickly. Third, I'm going to give you my personal recipe for overcoming objections so you can get back into the game faster and sail through these little bumps. And at the very end, I'm going to give you my go-to mentoring tool that I use when I need to shift out of the sting of rejection and failure and disappointment and all that stuff. So, I've had some disappointment in my time.
Well, this has been fun, Pam. Thanks for calling us all down here.
I've had some painful experiences, and I want to share with you one that really took me for a ride, affected me for a long time. I was a newer entrepreneur, and I do not want to make it sound like I had all my stuff together. It was kind of a hot mess most of the time, and we were struggling financially, and I remember being in a place of prayer, like, okay, please, Lord, tell me who I can serve. I know I have a business. I know there's people that I can serve. Who can I help? And I wrote down all the names that came to mind, and so I called them, and one of them was a long-time friend, like a real life long-time friend. And I called, we chatted, and then I said, hey, I've been on my mind. I was thinking about you. I wanted to invite you to this event. Would you be interested in coming? And she got really quiet and she got off the phone really fast. And then about a week or so later, I got a really long, really detailed, what I can only call hate mail message. And it went through the fact that she was super offended that I had pretended to want to talk to her. And then really I was just reaching out because I was trying to sell to her. And I mean, it was a lot. It was intense.
That was an overreaction.
And I remembered I was a new entrepreneur. I just crumbled under the weight of that rejection and crumbled under the weight of that disappointment.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a date with Destiny. And from what I hear, she's a...
And for literally the next year, every time I would get ready to go and make a call, that story was running through my mind. And I just felt like I was a terrible person. That and I believe that too. Like, in one part of my brain is me, but like, I just wanted her to come and I thought that it was going to be good for her because I felt inspired for this. And in one part of my brain was like, well, you must be a terrible friend if that's the only time that people hear from you.
How dare you? How dare you?
And everybody probably feels this way. And so it really affected my performance for a long time. If you think you're struggling because it's taking you a couple weeks to get over rejection, you guys, I'm talking a good solid year. So I'm excited to share with you these strategies because I know this can be detrimental in your business if you feel the sting of every single rejection. So let's talk about how we actually deal with rejection. There's kind of some different rejection personalities. One is what I like to call the pretender. So if you think of it like we're playing a game and you get injured, the pretender would pretend that they're not injured and they would just keep running.
I'm getting a stitch. Ah.
So you're like, no, that didn't even matter. I don't care. It's not me, it's them. go your own way and experience your own failures. It's your dumb fault for saying no, right? Like we tell ourselves that nothing is wrong and nothing actually happened.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening!
The second strategy that I see are the game changers, where they experience rejection and then they go, oh, you know what? I didn't really want to play this game anyway. It wasn't even that important. I don't even care. And then they go on to whatever game comes next. The third type are the losers limp. And so they continue to limp through the game, telling everybody why they're hurt and how much they were hurt, and try to get sympathy from everyone else around them. Hint, those people repel other successful prospects because nobody wants to hear that story over and over again.
I can't finish.
And then the last type are the ones that I call the sideliners. So they take themselves out of the game, they sit on the sidelines, and they watch everybody else playing the game that they want to play because they're afraid that when they go back in, they're going to get hurt again.
Wow, you are a downer.
We all have a natural tendency. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. What do you naturally do? I naturally am a pretender. I remember when I got that letter telling myself, it's no big deal, it's just her opinion. And I didn't let myself sit with it. I didn't let myself process it. And so it stayed with me for such a long time because I was pretending nothing was wrong.
Baby back, I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my
Baby back rib.
I was pretending that it didn't affect me at all, when in reality, it kind of broke my heart and it affected me a lot. So now that you know what your go-to style is, we get to move into the next step, which is we get to process that disappointment. So here's how I process rejection and disappointment. First of all, I look at true and not true. And in that scenario, I would have, had I known the skill, looked at and said, what is true? Well, what's true is I actually haven't called her for anything except business. That's actually true. So she has a valid point there.
It's true.
And then I look at what's not true. What wasn't true was that my intention was only to pretend to want to talk in order to have a business conversation. That wasn't true.
False.
So going through and looking at in this rejection, what's true, what's not true. The second piece is looking at what is a rejection of the product, the service, the experience, and what is a rejection of they just aren't interested in me. And most of the time, you guys, this is kind of a specific example, but most of the time they're not interested in the product, the service, the experience, but it actually has nothing to do with you. Like they don't have anything against you personally. They're just not interested in what you're offering.
No, I'm just on the phone with this stupid salesman. He's so dumb. Probably just gonna keep him on the line forever and not buy anything.
And when that's the case, it becomes a lot more easy to move through. The third thing I do is I acknowledge that I feel hurt and that there's some sting and there's some pain there.
Are you trying to hurt my feelings? Because if so, you are succeeding.
And then I can work on actually moving that emotion out, reframing the experience, and just allowing myself to process it and move forward. I can try to avoid feeling it for a year, or I can just really feel it for 15 minutes and move on. It's so much more productive that way.
Help! Help! Oh, gross, don't lick my hand.
Now, I told you 15 minutes. This is actually strategic. I give myself a time to jump into the pit of despair, feel everything I'm feeling, move it forward, and then there is a cutoff and I then get to move forward, leaving behind the rejection and the experience. If I don't process it, it will stay with me still to this day for a couple days. I mean, it's not gonna be a year, but I've developed thicker skin, it's still a couple of days. If I'll actually take time to go, oh wow, I don't know why, but for some reason that rejection stung a little bit more. It felt a little bit more personal. Let's break it down. What was my fault? Or what was true? What was not true? What were they rejecting the product, the service, the stuff? Or were they actually rejecting me? Okay, now I feel the emotion. Now let's move the emotion out. I feel better. It can be a very simple process.
Once again, it's showtime.
Now, I promised you that I was going to share with you my favorite mentoring tool for being able to move the emotion of the rejection out, and here's what it is. I am a big journaler. I always have a journal handy, and what I'll do is I'll write, I feel rejected because, I feel sad because, I feel disappointed because, and I just write all the things that come to mind. Then I'll actually read it out loud so that I can get the emotion out. Sometimes it does make me cry, sometimes it does make me angry, and then I forgive all the people that were involved, including myself, and I simply burn the paper, and it feels amazing. It is so worth the 15 minutes that you spend doing that in order to be able to move forward free of that rejection.
Anything else you need to talk about? Nope. That was it.
So my friend, I know the real reason you're here is not just to learn about rejection. It's because you really want to get past this so you can create consistent sales. So I've got a couple of gifts for you that I know are going to make a difference. First, I want you to go check out my video on how to create consistent 10K months. It's a really simple formula, and you're going to wish someone had explained this to you earlier. And number two, I would love to offer you my Sales and Marketing GPS. It's a short survey that you take where you tell us more about your business and about your sales and your current marketing situation. And then my team will analyze the data, we'll create a customized improvement plan for you, and we'll even meet with you to go through and review it. All right, my friend, I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave because I know you're going to go get to work. And go check out this next video.